This is Jablam Hockey with your hosts, Peter Bojarinoff and Paul Swinbeck. Welcome to Jablam Hockey, folks. Again, I'm your host, Peter Bojarinoff. You can catch me on Twitter at Russian98, and I'm with
Paul Zwambag. You can catch me at Zwambag, ZWAMBAG, on the Twitter sphere. Hello, everybody.
Hey, guys. Hey, out there. We're going to plead with you guys. You already know, we've mentioned it before. We have a Facebook group. We have a Twitter account. They're both Jablam Hockey. We're working on a website. Right now, we want you to go to our Podomatic site or iTunes and please rate us and review us. I've been asking a few friends. They've done it. But again, there's the U.S. store, there's the Canadian store. So we need, I think it's about 10 reviews at least for either side for the reviews and ratings to show up. So please go out there, rate, review our show. All right, let's go on to breaking news, trending now. The Blackhawks lock up the coach, Coach Q, QQQ, Quenneville. They lock him up till the year 2020. It's a 3-year contract, $18 million. What do you think about that, Paul?
He deserves it. He deserves every penny. He's won 2 cups in the past 3 years. And
3 cups in
6 years, yeah. So he got Babcock money, and I think he's better than Babcock. No offense to Mike Babcock, but yeah, I think he's way better than Mike Babcock, and he's proving it. He's won cups, so
yeah. Well, you can't blame Babcock for not having the talent that the Hawks have been putting out there. We are doing the season awards. We'll probably have maybe the GM up there too. I've put him up there. We're going to do the season awards later in this show. But again, it's hard to compare what Quenneville has always had on his team to what Babcock had on of course the Red Wings and of course the Maple Leafs. You know, I still think he's done pretty well this year with the peanuts that he's had on the Maple Leaf roster.
Yeah, but he had pretty good players for Detroit when they went on their couple of runs to the finals. So they had pretty great talent. So I just think Quenneville he's got those guys that group of guys that they've built around, and he can get them going anytime, anywhere. And I just think he's a great coach.
Yeah, he's a great coach. He really deserves it.
Yeah.
I still think Babcock didn't have exactly what he had. And again, there's an underrated goalie with like Crawford out there who's put up pretty good numbers almost every single year, and that's a good back end goalie that nobody even thinks is a top maybe 5-10 goalie, and probably should be considered underrated. One.
Yeah, he's so underrated. It's ridiculous.
Good for Quenneville and good for the Hawks. Let's move on. Paul, what do you think? If Stamkos were to be traded, what do you think you would fetch?
A couple picks, prospect, maybe 2 prospects, and maybe an NHL player. If the one prospect and an NHL young kid.
So you think he's going to go to more of a contender-type team, and then Tampa gets a lot of prospects back?
Yeah, they'll get an NHL-ready player either playing or on the fringe. That's their top prospect. And picks, probably a couple first-round picks, because they're obviously going to be low-end. They're going to be at the end of the first round because he's going to a contender.
Going to a top team.
Yeah, it's going to be a bundle. It's going to be a lot.
It's going to be a pretty big package. The rumors are Detroit, among other teams, and it's been out there. I saw a few tweets, and people are mentioning like a package of, say, Nyquist, Riley Shahan, Marchenko, and picks. Do you think that would be doable, or what is going on there? That would be pretty crazy.
Would you pull the trigger on that if you're Steve Yzerman? Would you pull the trigger?
I would for sure. To me, that would be an overpayment, in my opinion.
Well, and like, if they're not going to keep Steven Stamkos, that's quite a package to get rather than nothing.
That's what I'm saying. It's an overprice by the Red Wings to be sending to Tampa for Stamkos, especially because they're not going to be keeping. He's going to be a free agent. Anybody can get him in the offseason, technically.
Yeah, so you're going to have to pay. Like Detroit, I guess, sees that, and yeah, the Stamkos would definitely fill in their aging centermen, Zetterberg and Datsuk. So
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. It's nuts, and there looks like it could be a good chance that he's going to be moved. Other guys that might be moved as well are Shattenkirk, because he was rumored to be going maybe for Ryan Johansson when he was on the block.
yeah, and I just think that's crazy. He is such a good defenseman. Like, why just because he's having a quiet year compared to the rest of his years that all of a sudden they need to trade him? Like Shattenkirk and Petrangelo are quite a tandem. Like
Yeah,
that's a good 1-2 punch, and they don't play a lot together because Bouwmeester usually plays with Petrangelo, but now the Bouwmeester's hurt, so
yeah. I think
I
they
don't think
feel
it's
that
long term. So
they have Gunnarsson, who's playing fairly well in the top four for them, and now Parieko's there. Colton's doing a great job, and if he can step in, then maybe they can move him out for to fill in another position better.
yeah, that's true. And Pareko, when Shattenkirk was out with his injury, Pareko played awesome. Like
He was outstanding, and I
yeah,
think that has a lot to do with it.
yeah,
So we'll see, but there's a good chance. And of course, then with the Rangers, Yandel probably won't be able to resign with the Rangers at all because of his cap hit. Again, remember, I think they're still paying for some of his cap hit from the Coyotes, right?
yes, I believe so. Yeah,
So he's going to want at least what he's been making now, or maybe even more. And he's having a decent season.
yeah,
So there's a
he
really
was,
good chance he's going to be moved.
yeah, he was real hot to start, and then he kind of quieted down. But like,
Just like the
yeah,
rest of the Rangers.
yeah, and
So
there's a good defenseman now on the block, on the trading block, supposedly, and that hasn't happened very often. Defensemen are hard to come by normally.
pretty big, two big names out
Yeah,
there. Both could be moved. So this could be a very exciting deadline. We've already had some crazy stuff happen last week, and more things could be happening in the next few weeks.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
It's going to be pretty wild. All right, let's go on to injuries. It's pretty rough, but for the Leafs, we'll start right there. James Van Riemsdyk looks like he could be done for almost the rest of the season. If you think about it, 6 to 8 weeks with a fractured foot.
Yeah, that's a big bummer for the Leafs, but you want them tanking, so this is gonna help them tank.
That's
So
exactly what I'm thinking. As a Leaf fan myself, I think this is a great thing. Number one, you know, JVR's had a fairly decent season. It's not a horrible injury, and it's something that he could come back from, and won't disable the rest of his career. And then the Leafs are trying to have all these 1-2 year contracts with these guys like Parento and Matthias and stuff. And if you're going to give them more ice time, that's even better, because then you can trade them for more value. If they're getting more ice time, they might pick up some more points beforehand, and they might get some more value for Leafs and be able to get higher draft picks because of his injury.
yeah, so uh, I think the Leafs are slowly gonna start falling off even more
Yeah,
and more as the year goes on. So
for sure. And we're gonna be talking the team reports in the next episode. But like Matthias looks like rumored to be taking JVR's spot on, say, the second line there. He's been abysmal. He's been invisible. So hopefully he wakes up and helps his stock rise, and good for the Leafs, and hopefully he plays better for himself. But I like that the prospect on the Marlies, Josh Levo, looks like they brought him up, and maybe he might get some minutes, and he looks like he might be pretty good.
yeah, the Marlies are looking great right now. So
Who else is out, Paul?
I don't know. You tell me.
I think we also had Nick Foligno's out, I believe.
Yeah, upper body injury for Nick Foligno. He's placed on IR. It was a sustained hit from Brad Malone,
Yeah.
who was talked to by not Colin Campbell, but disciplinary, and was not suspended, but he was looked at. So that hurts Columbus. They just moved Johansson, and now Nick Foligno's out. So
Top line is dismantled.
yeah, that's not good for Columbus, but they're not looking to do anything this year anyway. So
And now Travis Hamonic is out. We've been talking about him on and off, about him being traded. Boychuk's already out. Now Hamonic 2 to 3 weeks. Is the Islanders' blue line just like totally apart? I don't know what's going on there now.
Yeah, and they got a good kid, Ryan Pullock, that they could easily call up, and I think he'll fill the void for sure. So look out for Ryan Pullock.
Yeah, hopefully he fills in for those guys. That's
Yeah,
going to be a little
yeah.
hard to fill in for. And then, of course, guys coming back. It looks like Care Price and Connor McDavid will be back after the All Star break.
Yeah, so 3 weeks away. So
A little bit of a while.
that'll be exciting. That's two top stars to watch. So
I can't wait, because I was watching the Oilers nonstop every single game until McDavid's injury. And you know what? I pretty much haven't seen any games since he has been injured.
yeah, and that's a lot of people out there have done the exact same thing. And I've caught a few Edmonton games just because I'm a huge Taylor Hall fan. So, but they're way different with McDavid in the lineup. That's 1-2 punch big time. So
Hopefully it helps him when he comes back.
yeah.
All right, let's go and let's do it. The half season awards. All right. First, we'll start off with a new trophy, Paul. I think there deserves to be a new trophy in the NHL. Do you know which one it should be?
Um, who's got the best beard? Brent Burns wins.
Yeah, that would be a great. Oh, that would be a great award. That would probably be a better one for the playoffs, at least, because then everybody gets a chance to win the award.
Yes.
But what I'm talking about is there's the Norris, and everybody mixes up the Norris, and usually the offensive guys get the best chance to win the Norris. No, I'm breaking it up. I'm giving the James Norris to the best defensive defenseman, and we're bringing in Bobby Orr. He deserves his own award for best offensive defenseman. So let's start with that best offensive defenseman. Paul, what do you got?
Erik Karlsson, done. He wins. He's so good. It's ridiculous. He flies up the ice. He jumps in anytime he wants and can still be covering the back end easily. It's unreal when he's out on the ice. He's a highlight reel. It's unbelievable. He's so good.
Yeah,
But
he's,
Brent
first in the league
Burns.
in ice time,
Yeah.
and first in points. He's insanely amazing.
Yeah, but Brent Burns is right on his tail. Brent Burns has turned it on. He's scoring like crazy, and because he's shooting like crazy, so that Brent Burns is giving him a run for his money. But Erik Karlsson is easy number one.
Yep. So I'm guessing Brent Burns is your second?
Yeah, Brent Burns is number two on my list. Yeah.
And who do you have as third and fourth?
Number three is John Klingberg from Dallas Stars. He's still playing unbelievable with Siga and Ben, which is easy to do because they're so good. And number four, John Carlson, who's hurt right now, but he's helping that Capitals back end offensively big time. So those are my four.
I pretty much have the exact same as you. Carlson first. Burns is a beast with 18 goals. Klimberg third in points. Also high in actual playing minutes as well. Like Carlson, he's up there. And then I have as my fourth Justin Falk. 14 goals, 130 shots. He is a shooting machine on a struggling Canes lineup.
Yeah, where does he find the offense in that lineup? Like, he's doing it all himself. Like, he's got Eric Stahl, who's lost to Steph, and Jordan Stahl, who thinks he's a first liner, but is definitely a second or third line guy. So, yeah, Justin Falk is just putting the puck in the net at will.
He's been pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the Norris. I'll go with my picks. Of course, we've named it the Norris for defensive defenseman. And I'm going to go with my number one is Drew Doughty.
Nice.
He's second best in the league in ice time. He's like top three, I believe, in plus minus. And he just eats up minutes and he flies by everyone. Collecting the puck, setting up plays. He's great. My number two I have is Carl Alsner. Him and then Calvin DeHaan are my 2 and 3 because their teams are really good on the PK. They play well on their PK. Alsner leads the league in blocks, and Calvin Hahn is in the top 5 in block shots. So I believe they both deserve to be there. And then my fourth, I really wanted to go with Alex Pietrangelo. There's some other guys out there, and I'll also talk about the same thing with the Selke. I like to pick players who play a lot in their own zone and as well play a lot on the penalty kill. Pietrangelo doesn't have a great plus minus, but he's one of the top in the league in penalty kill ice time, and his team is a very good penalty killing team. What about you, Paul?
All right, we got the same number one. Drew Doughty is just an unbelievable talent on the back end. He plays against the top units. He can break out with like the best of them, and yeah, I just think Drew Doughty is on another level defensively. He still can be an offensive guy, but the back end he's great. So yeah, I agree. Drew Doughty. Number two is Toby Enstrom, leading defenseman in plus minus with the Winnipeg Jets.
But he doesn't play on the penalty kill.
Well, that's okay. 5-on-5 is much more important, I think, keeping the puck out of the net. So
he's been pretty good.
Yeah, Victor Hedman, he's a stalwart on the back end. He's great. And Ryan Suter, just a minute muncher. He's awesome. He's been doing it for how many years, and he just keeps doing it and keeps going. And
the Wild rely so much on him.
Oh, it's unbelievable how much he's on the ice when you watch a Wild game. It's crazy.
All right, let's move over to the Calder. Paul, who do you got?
The Calder, Artemi Panarin, easy number one. He's lighting up the rookies. Yeah, Artemi Panarin, we talked about him last episode, that this kid can shoot. It's unbelievable, that snipe show.
He's above and beyond the best rookie so far.
Oh, easily. There's no other competition. I think if Connor McDavid was healthy, he would be putting a run for it, but I don't even know if McDavid would have as much as Panarin. It's incredible. He's keeping up with Patrick Kane. He's not looking silly playing with the top goal scorer or top point scorer in the league. So yeah, Artemi Panarin's my number one. Dylan Larkin, number two. This kid is fast. He's so quick. He's still putting up points. Yep, so he's my number two. Jack Eichel's starting to heat up. He's looking really good for Buffalo. He's starting to get comfortable. He's starting to play with Sam Reinhart and Semgus Girgensson. So Reinhart's having a really good year too, but Jack Eichel is starting to get hot.
He had a really good start with the first 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Then he really quieted down. Now he's picking it up again.
Yeah, he's picking it back up. Yeah. And Max Domi's my number four. In Arizona, he's incredible. We're recording this on a Wednesday or Tuesday night, and he scored a hat trick, so that helps his stock.
Yep.
Yeah.
So. For myself, same thing. I had easily Panarin number one, Dylan Larkin number two. He is one of the best plus minus guys in the whole entire league. Pretty amazing, especially at his age.
Yeah.
Then I had a hidden one in Mike Condon. I really think he still had decent and solid numbers for a rookie on a really weak Habs team in December and January so far. They lost Price. They lost confidence. They weren't scoring. Their defense wasn't that very good either. But Condon was still pretty good in the net for them, I thought. And then it was tough for me because there were so many other guys that deserve to be in that spot. Domi, he's right there. So I don't really have a fourth. I wasn't sure, Goddess be here. I feel that he's heating up and he could be better, but he's been really good lately, and he just hasn't played enough games. And John Gibson, and Connor Hellebuyck, same thing. They haven't played enough games, but they are both strong goalies and on fire, and probably surpass Condon by the end of the season for in the top three in the rookie award count.
Yeah, good call.
All right, let's go to the Lady Bing. I'll go first. My top Tyler Seguin, obviously, he's in the top three in points, uh, and he doesn't have that many penalty minutes for the amount of ice time he plays and the points he's putting up. I have number two, Matt Hoffman. 20 goals already. He's still young, only 4 penalty minutes. Then Matt Duchene, he's right there, 8 penalty minutes, 21 goals, 37 points. And then Johnny Hockey. I'm even shocked Johnny Hockey's like almost top five in league in points. This kid's playing amazing in only 10 penalty minutes.
Yeah.
For you, Paul?
I think you had the wrong name for Hoffman. I think you were a BMX fan, aren't you? Are you a BMX fan, Peter?
No, I'm not. I
No.
know.
Matt Hoffman, the awesome
Mike.
BMX biker. But anyways, it's Mike Hoffman.
Mike, yes.
I'll fix that for you, buddy. So yeah, Mike Hoffman's my number one, so that's why I noticed that right away. Because I was like, oh, is it Matt? No, it's Mike. It's Mike, yeah. So he's my number one. He's unbelievable. All my guys that I picked are 30 plus points and only have 4 penalty minutes.
Ah.
So Mike Hoffman's number one, Louis Eriksson is number two, Ryan O'Reilly number three, and Bobby Ryan number 4 are my 4.
I really feel that the NHL usually goes more on a percentage basis too. So it's tough
Yeah.
when a guy like Sagan is way up there and has like 14 penalty minutes.
Yeah.
And then Hoffman, he's my second. He's right there with 20 goals, but only 36 points and 4 penalty minutes.
Yeah.
But all of them, they're all really good players and not too crazy physically, and that's good for them and good for the league.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to coaches. The Jack Adams. Who do you got, Paul?
Number one, Gerard Gallant. He is just unreal, keeping the Panthers at the top of the Atlantic. It's impressive. And kind of came out of nowhere. Like, they just started turning it on. The young kids are playing real well, and Luongo on the back end is just a wall back there. And Jaromir Jagr's found his
You can kind of see it the way they were playing last year, that they were really starting to gel and everything.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's done a really good job. Barry Trotz is my number 2, and he's just having a great year with Washington. So, obviously, it makes sense that he has a great lineup, so why not be a good coach? Lindy Ruff with the Dallas Stars is my number 3, and Dave Tippett with Arizona Coyotes. How he is keeping that roster near the top of the Pacific is beyond me. He's somehow finding a way to keep those kids energized and playing good hockey. So Dave Tippett's done a really good job there.
Yeah. My list is pretty much close to yours. Gallant's been great. Somehow bringing that young team and transitioning them into a team that's leading a division. So he's done a great job there. Lindy Ruff with so many moving parts, new parts in, parts out, and leading pretty much the league them versus the Capitals. And, of course, then I have Trotz. He's transformed an offensive type team to an all-around team. Again, a lot of new parts in there, and everything just seems to be working very smoothly. Good job by Ruff and Trotz.
Yeah.
And then I was close to picking Tippett, but I went with Blashill. Babcock left. The team wasn't doing too well the last season and a half, but he comes in and somehow improves upon them. So he's done a pretty good job, and I think he deserves to be 4th.
Yeah, and he's in Babcock's shadow. He's got to live up to a pretty big name. So yeah,
it's pretty amazing that they're listening to him almost as if Babcock was still there.
Well, it's because he sounds like him, so it's not very hard to do. But yeah, that he has done a really good job there.
Then on top of the coaches are GMs, and who do you think? Who do we have for GM? I'll go first, actually. My first I picked Stan Bowman of the Hawks. I don't know how, but he keeps on finding these GMs, these gem of players like Panarin out of nowhere. Wasn't even drafted. He brought him in. The Anisimov trade was great. He's great. He's done good moves every year, and including this year. My number 2 from the Stars, Jim Nill. Same thing, additions of Sharp, and of course he deserves it. So he gets a new 5-year extension, new contract for a great job he's done. My third, Brian McLennan from the Capitals. He's done a great job adding Oshie and Williams to an already pretty good team, but adding good pieces of offense into that top two lines. And even last year, right after he signed his contract, within about a month, he added Niskanen, and he's been really good on his back end for him. And then my number 4 is Dale Talon, and he's deserved all of it because of drafting. Since he's been in there every single year, he's drafted a great kid or two. So he's done a good job for the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, so we're pretty close, and they're pretty much the same as what our quarter season awards were, because it's kind of hard to be a
Mm-hmm.
move up the list on our GM list in the mid season. They're known for their off season stuff. So
Yeah.
Jim Nill and Stan Bowman are my 1 and 2.
Yep.
So they just flip flop with you. Brian McClellan at yeah, he's put together a great team. And guy that moved up my list is Dean Lombardi. He's made some that LeCavier Chen is that's going to help their depth for sure. So yeah,
We'll see. We'll see how it helps, but he's done a pretty good job too. I was thinking about the Kings.
Yeah, on paper he's though that deal I think is going to help them in the playoffs. So yeah.
All right, let's all move on to the best goalies, the Vezina. Paul, you go first.
Number 1, Braden Holtby. He has turned it on, and he had a streak of like 21 straight games of gaining a point. So either a win or an overtime loss, and that's a crazy streak. And I think it's a harder streak than a goal, like a point scoring streak. So Braden Holtby's been on fire. Corey Crawford leading the league in shutouts. He's just underrated. I can't believe it. Coming into the year, everybody was putting him as like number 15 in their rankings and stuff, and it's like he's a top 10 guy easily. So maybe not quite the top 5, but
he's still so underrated. Yeah,
it's crazy. He just, and good for him. He just keeps flying under the radar and keeps putting up great points.
Yeah.
And a guy that's finally moved up the list, Peter, you'll be happy about this. James Reimer, number 3. He's leading the league in save percentage, so
yeah,
that's an impressive feat. So hopefully he can get over all those injuries and come back and just be as good as what he was playing before. So, and then my number 4 is Roberto Luongo. He is backstopping the Florida Panthers to top of the Atlantic, like we said before, and he's been awesome. He's keeping them in the game every single game. They're not blowing out teams. They're 1 goal, 2 goal games, and Luongo is helping them keep it that way. So those are my 4.
Cool. I as well, Holtby, he is just outstanding this year, and because of him, the Caps are right up there. Yeah. Then my number 2 is Robbie Lou. I think Luongo has done a stellar job, and because of him as well, the Panthers are right up there too. And they both have pretty similar numbers, and they both done an outstanding job. Then it drops down to number 3. I have Jonathan Quick. Again, he's a huge reason the Kings are up there. He's been outstanding, and his numbers are very similar to Corey Schneider's. And he's a huge reason why the Devils, who don't have too much talent up front, but are in a playoff spot because of Corey Schneider. So those are my top 4.
Nice.
All right, let's move on to I think that's pretty much everything except for... Oh, no, and we haven't done the Selke, the Frank Selke. Best defensive forwards. I'll go first. My number 1 is Anjay Kopitar. He's top 10 in ice time and top 10 in almost every other strong category, I believe, in penalty killing, ice time, face-offs, blocks, and even plus-minus. He's way up there. He's outstanding. My number 2, David Backes. Tops in the league. He's way up there in blocks, He's strong in every other category, similar to Kopitar, and St. Louis's penalty killing is top three in the league. So he's doing a great job, and he's strong, and he's always on their penalty kill. And then number three is, of course, Jonathan Toews. He is one of the best and always in face-offs. He's outstanding. And again, still top five in ice time and a great plus minus. Number four are my odds, and that's again tied with I got again my Ryan Kessler and Luke Glendening. Their plus minus is not great this year, and of course for Kessler, his team is struggling. But when they're on the ice and they're killing penalties, they're both outstanding. Kessler outstanding in faceoffs, Glendening's pretty good, and both great on blocks and team penalty killing. Paul, what about you?
Nice. All right, I'm going to run through these quick because I got a question about your Selkie number one. So
Mm-hmm.
my four are Jonathan Toews. He's lights out on the face-offs. Same with Patrice Bergeron. So those are my 1, 2. Ryan O'Reilly is having a quiet, good year defensively. So he's my number 3, and then Ryan Kessler is my number 4. Okay,
Nice.
so let's get to the question. I had a guy
Yes.
contact me on Twitter. I'm not going to give his name because he didn't want his
Yeah.
buddies to find out that he's getting information from me. So
All right.
he had
Go
a
ahead.
question, and I really had to think about it this morning when I saw it. So he was offered Anji Kopitar
Yep.
for Evgeny Kuznetsov straight up. He was getting Kopitar, giving up Kuznetsov in a keeper league, but neither of the guys were going to be keepers, and it is a face-off league. Who do you take, Peter?
Is plus minus involved?
Yes, plus minus was involved. Face-offs, wins were involved, and then all the regular categories.
Wow. I would have to go with Kopitar, or for his sake, right? Keeping Kopitar.
No, he was getting Kopitar.
Oh
He was
yeah,
giving
yeah.
up
No,
Kuznetsov.
I don't know how much Kuznetsov can keep this pace, and this is only for the rest of this season, right?
Yeah, so he said that it wasn't going to be a keeper for the end of the
Yeah.
year. So
I don't know. I still like Kopitar more than Kuznetsov. Number one, Kopitar is always going to be getting that ice time because he is one of the leaders in ice time. He's going to be getting it. He can put up even more points than he already is, and he's still going to be good on faceoffs and plus minus. Kuznetsov could drop in the lineup in the Capitals because he's still younger, and because of that as well, he could have hot and cold parts of his season still to come.
yeah, so I jumped on and was like, "Oh no, Kuznetsov, big time, no doubt about it. That's a wicked deal, or a horrible deal. You do not want Kopitar." But then I sat and thought about it, and I looked at the face-off wins, and he's like 230 more face-off wins
Yep.
to Kuznetsov. So I was like,
Yep.
so what I told him was that you really got to look at the stat categories and how well you're doing in those stat categories. If you're at the top of the league in face-off wins, Kopitar is not going to help you anymore. Like they're putting up this about the same
That's true. If
numbers.
you're at
They're
the
at the
top,
same
you
rate.
can't go further up.
Yeah,
So yeah,
so he ended up getting back to me and saying that he was like mid-level. So I don't know what he ended up deciding. I went through a big spiel and started off with saying, nope, you want Kuznetsov, and then by the end of it, I ended up switching and being like, no, Kopitar is probably the better bet if you need the face-off wins. But so hopefully he will let me know, and yeah, if anybody else wants to reach out, go ahead. I'm more than happy to answer questions, and Peter and I will discuss them. So
for
let's
sure.
get back to the awards, Peter. Sorry about that.
No,
Sidetracked.
that was a good question. I liked it.
Yeah.
All right, and then I think that's pretty much it. And then we're gonna go with the last but the biggest category for the awards, and that's MVP, Most Valuable Player. Paul, you go first.
Patrick Kane, number one. Guy's playing unbelievable. I didn't think he was going to keep the scoring rate, and he's 10 ahead of everybody else. Like 63
He's
points in 45 games. It's unbelievable.
he's outstanding. I never saw this coming from Patrick Crane at all. I thought he was gonna max out at like 80 points a game, point per game player. But
Yeah.
he's been standing.
He might be the only guy that hits 100 this year.
Yep.
And we haven't seen a 100-point guy in a couple of years, so let's hopefully he stays healthy. Knock on wood for all the Blackhawks fans and
Yep.
hockey fans out there. So yeah, Patrick Kane's my number one. Braden Holtby is my number two. We're seeing more and more the goalies are getting looked at more for the MVP with Price winning it last year, and it makes sense. They are very like goalies are very valuable to a team. Like look at the Montreal Canadiens right now, falling apart because
Hmm.
Price is hurt. So Braden Holtby
It's
is
it's confidence too. The team, when they have that goalie and he's been there and done that for them, the rest of the team just has that confidence.
yeah. And then
So
so my number three is Jamie Benn. He's playing
yeah,
unbelievable with the Dallas Stars, and Alex Ovechkin having a great year, unbelievable, leading the league in goals. So he's the Rocket Richard
yeah,
leader right now. So
yeah. So he deserves that
yeah,
award too. My top four. Again, you know me, Paul. I don't like to pick the same guys from the same team. We've had this argument before.
yeah, yeah.
But again, number one, above and beyond, Patrick Kane. You've said it already. My two and three, again, very similar to the Vesnas, are Roberto Luongo and then Braden Holtby. Both because they've taken their teams to the top because of their goaltending, and they totally deserve it. And for Luongo, there's nobody else that's made as huge an impact on his team, but other than himself. Yager's had a pretty good season. Ekblad's had a pretty good season, but Luongo's had an outstanding season, and he deserves it. Holtby, pretty much the same thing. And then my number four is Pavel Tarasenko. The Blues are a team that, especially when you get to the playoffs, and this is why I like the Blues, they're such a good two-way team, but they never have had that outstanding offensive juggernaut, and they have one now in Tarasenko. He's in that top echelon of scorers and snipers, and he's the best, and he deserves, in my opinion, to be in the category in the nominees of MVP.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. Good call.
So, Paul, you said Ovi is the Richard, and I guess Patrick Kane is obviously the Art Ross leader.
Yeah, and then the Jennings, which you kind of giggle about every time we bring up the Jennings winner. Braden
Nobody cares about it that much, but all right, go ahead.
Braden Holtby is hey, it's a heated competition right now. Braden Holtby
Oh,
is
yeah.
89 goals against, but not all his goals against because it's a team
Yeah,
award.
it's more of a team thing too. So it's like this goalie deserves it, but the whole team puts that effort for that goals against average.
Yeah, so there's three teams and one two goals apart. So it's the Capitals, the Kings, and the Panthers at 89, 90, and 91. So
Pretty
I
close.
guarantee Luongo looks at it every single day and he wants to be the Jennings winner.
I don't think so.
That's
I
the award that he goes for.
I think Strombone is more busier making jokes on his Twitter account than thinking about if his team and himself is going to win the Jennings.
This is true.
So we'll see about that.
Yeah.
All right, we're almost at the end. I just want to quickly go over it because I love it. Suspensions. All right, the last 2 weeks we've had suspensions. Marcus Johansson, 2 games for a headshot on Hickey. You know what? In my opinion, it's clean. It's a clean cut call. I like it. He went high. He went too far. He lunged at Hickey right in the head, and he got all of them in the head. Again, I would rather have them give warnings to players because Johansson's not that type of guy. He's never done this before. There's no history. Hickey has no injury kind of thing. But it's okay. I'm okay with that. 2 games. He deserves it. The other one, though, is Zach Sill, 2 games for boarding on Adam McQuaid. Number one, I'll go into it a bit. Kids are taught, and they keep on doing it, to be in the right position to not be vulnerable. And McQuaid puts himself in that vulnerable position. He sees Sill coming to hit him, and he totally keeps his back against him as he goes in on the half boards to get the puck. He could easily position himself so he gets hit in the shoulder, but he doesn't. He positions his back against a guy like Sill who always finishes his hits and puts himself vulnerable. Again, he needs to protect himself. But it doesn't matter. What Zach Sill did by finishing the check, driving through the numbers, is just awful. He totally shouldn't do it. I would have expected a lot more games other than 2, especially if McQuaid got injured. So Sill is kind of lucky, in my opinion, that he only got 2 games. He needs to let up, and I really do like this. And if you look around, Paul, in the league, they don't call holding on the boards almost at all anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're letting them when you're hitting a guy in a vulnerable position. Now you're allowed to clutch and grab and slowly hold into the boards, and that's what he Sill should have done.
Yeah, it really drives me nuts, the turning of the back. It just, that's not how you're taught to play hockey. Like, I don't know why these guys think they can do it, and it just boils my blood. It drives me nuts.
McQuaid totally should have angled himself better and put the shoulder out and just got the puck out of the zone, but Sill cannot drive through the numbers.
Yeah,
so it's two-way street.
Yeah.
And Paul, did you want to mention the prospect of the week? We got a minute here.
Yeah, I can pull it up on my notes here. It'll be pretty quick because it's a young kid, Maxime Comtois.
Oh, I've never heard of him.
Because he's a 2017 draft-eligible kid.
Wow, okay.
Young kid, 17 years old, playing for the Victoriaville Tigers in the QMJHL. This past week, 3 games played, 6 goals, 0 assists. So 6 goals.
Wow.
Pretty much top of the league for the week. So, and then a quick note on the goaltender of the week. CHL goaltender of the week was also named Michael DiPietro.
Is he related?
No relation to DiPietro that I could find. Also a 2017 draft eligible. So yeah, these young kids are they're good. It's ridiculous how young these kids are, and they just keep playing awesome. So yeah. Maxime Comtois and Michael DiPietro are your prospects of the week.
Wicked. And stay tuned to our next episode when we'll have more prospects, when we team ISO the Calgary Flames. And of course, we're going to have our team report cards next episode. Me and Paul talking about our 2 favorite teams, Leafs and the Pens. That's it for this week. Or at least this episode. We'll see you next time.
Bye.